Should councils be banned from flying any flag but the Union Jack and the St George's Cross? It's time now for the head-to-head. So, just days after they swept a victory at the local elections, hundreds of new Reform UK councillors are getting down to work. Party chairman Zia Youssef announced over the weekend that Reform-controlled councils will only be allowed to fly the Union Jack, St George's flag or the county flag. Well, in May last year, Westminster Council was slammed for decking out the centre of London in a load of pride flags. And they aren't the only council shunning the Union Jack. No, Sheffield Council hoisted the Palestinian flag above the town hall in November last year to mark the United Nations Day of Solidarity with the Palestinian people, of course. And who could forget this? Well, in March last year, Westminster Abbey flew the Pakistani flag to celebrate Pakistani Independence Day. So tonight I'm asking, is Reform right to ban the councils from flying all flags but the Union Jack or the St George's Cross? Joining us now to discuss this is political commentator Emma Trimble and broadcaster and commentator Fahima Mohammed. Emma, I will start with you. What do you think? Do you think this is right, then, that we should only be having our national flags or the county flags?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have a problem, I think, at the moment where it's not just institutions, public institutions, companies as well. They have this kind of leaky concept of what they're supposed to be about. Councils, government institutions, public services, civil servants, they have a specific function and they should only do that function. And so any national institution should only be flying either the flag of the Union, the flag of the nation, whether it's England, Ireland, Scotland or Wales. And I think it's fair enough that, you know, in any country in the Union, we should be able to fly any of the other flags in the Union, and also local flags, whether that is a county flag or regional in some way. So no, I don't think it's right that they should be flying pride flags. They should be flying anything that is linked to any kind of divisive political or ideological cause.
All right, Fahima, why should a local council have the pride flag and the Ukrainian flag over it?
Well, let's be honest, this flag ban policy from Reform UK isn't just about patriotism, it's political signalling, and it leans heavily into far-right territory. Why? Because it promotes a narrow, enforced version of British identity, one that says only two flags are acceptable and every other symbol of history, solidarity, or cultural contribution should be erased from public view. That's ethnocentric.
It's only on council buildings, you know, just to make sure we're clear. Sorry, Fahima. I just want to be sure we're very clear on this. You understand they're not banning flags from being hung from people's windows or in people's cars or on lampposts or whatever. You understand it's just council buildings. So why should a council building somewhere have the Pakistani flag above it?
But even still, we are prioritising one version of Britishness while silencing everyone else.
So is the Palestinian flag British?
Rhetoric.
Is it?
It is, basically, because at the end of the day, when it comes to forbidding flying the Ukrainian flag in solidarity, or flags of France or the US D-Day, commemorations, whatever it is, it's basically silencing what the narrative of British identity really represents. It's cultural dominance, not British pride.
Okay.
And it's also one of which, you know, symbols like of the Windrush commemorations, the symbols that even of the Caribbean to honor the Black British history. You know, that sort of generation helped rebuild post-war Britain.
Yeah, I mean, OK, so did Brits. But, you know, Emma, what do you make of that?
I mean, come off it. Like, if you have a problem with the Union flag, if you have a problem with the flag of St George, if you think that that is a far right, that is a you problem. I think the idea that, you know, all of the flags of all of the other nations around the world are in some way British just because there are people who live in this country who have ancestry from those countries. You know, the flag should be a unifying thing for every person who is a subject in this country of the crown. I just think it's ridiculous to suggest that this is signalling anything. if anybody is signalling, it's councils and public servants, whether it's even, you know, in various departments, they're signalling their allegiance to various divisive and contested political and ideological causes around the world. And actually, the fact is that if you want to talk about multiculturalism, well, in a multicultural society, you can't be having public institutions flying the flags of other countries because, as you've just pointed out there, Patrick, those countries sometimes go to war with one another. And so it's not divisive, it's also playing into sectarianism. Instead, we should unite under our flag and be proud of our national culture.
Okay,
Being proud of the British flag and having it should be first. No one's denying that. But it shouldn't be the only one that's there. In Canada, these are also global democracies where they have, you know, in the US, in Germany, both the national flags and other things are there. Despite difficult paths, it's not, you are alluding to other flags that are being divisive, which is also completely wrong.
Just to say, Fahima, so what we're looking at here is Westminster Abbey with the flag of Pakistan above it. In Pakistan, have we ever had a British flag above a mosque?
It could be alongside for certain
But have we ever had that? Does that happen?
We're not saying, but to completely ban it, that's
But does it happen in other countries, though? In other countries, we're saying, oh, it's really bad here. Yeah, Canada, but that's not really what we're talking about, is it? Just be clear. Just be clear. In what countries are we seeing this? Are we seeing this happening? Are we seeing it in Saudi Arabia, in Iraq, in Iran, in Afghanistan, in Syria, in Lebanon, in Jordan? Are we seeing it?
China. If you want to identify like countries like China and Russia to who is culturally authoritarianism and totalitarianism, then that's fine. Call yourself that. Don't be sort of saying that you're a democracy if you are going to be following under that route. Let's call it for what it is. That's what I'm trying to say. It doesn't really represent patriotism to have alongside the British flag on certain occasions other things as well to recognize that kind of solidarity and cultural contribution. It's not going to erase the British patriotism. That's what you're trying to say. And that is what is sort of like enforcing something and putting it.
All right. I think the problem is that sometimes there's been no British flag above those buildings. But there we go. Right, we're gonna have to move on. Thank you very much, both of you. So that is, of course, Emma Trimble there and Fahima Mohammed. Let's see what you've been saying about this online. Alex on Your Say says, does this rule mean that we aren't allowed to fly Israeli or Ukrainian flags? Well, not above council buildings, as I understand it. And you know, I don't... Is there a massive problem with that above council buildings? But anyway, Jane says, of course, we should fly the Union Jack above our council buildings and nothing else. Well, there we go. Those are basically the two versions of that.